can screw up. And every single other day, they have to be live for 2 hours. They cannot get banned. It's not in their best interest to get banned because then they lose their entire tier. And when you're dealing with that kind of money, you go to all sorts of great lengths to not get banned.
Right,
so
right, absolutely.
Spreading those rumors around, that's not true. It's not true. If there's any top tier, really truly top tier hosts that are sleeping, I highly doubt it. Nobody's gonna play around with that kind of money. You're talking about $32,000 payout in the month. Why would anybody risk it? So okay, yeah, we'll talk later. We'll see what you're talking about because I'm sure there's some sort of a misunderstanding or you're seeing something that maybe there's a reason behind what's happening. But I know that they would never risk their money like that. It just doesn't make sense.
So if you're a host,
could be some hosts that have a lot of SVIP points accessible to them, but not that many. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this.
I wondered about that. Like, oh, pause, you go.
Let me ask you this because I sat in Big 20s a couple of months ago, and he was saying like when I go live, say tomorrow, after I get to like 31 minutes, and I'm at like still at like 68 bots, I could shut it down and then wait a few minutes and then start it back up. And that's one way to help put me towards the top, raise my heat, something like that.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, that makes sense because as soon as you're online, it picks you up and it brings you up like as a new person that connected. That's a really good strategy. Hey, Cyber Chaser, nice to see you.
Look at Mahal down there.
I know.
I was wondering if
you're a host,
got any other ways, or if you've done that before.
So
heat.
Yeah.
So I've never really. I did notice when I came back like that. Yeah. So I've never really like disconnected, reconnected to try and raise my heat. I typically, honestly, like I'm not one of those people that actually really cares too much about heat. I know a lot of people really, really do. I really, really don't. So I'm probably
you know why you don't care about it, Sil? Because you generate enough heat yourself. You know?
Exactly.
I had to.
Okay, well, thank you. But like, no, for real, like some people care about it, and well, there's people who think about it and really do, think about how they can generate that heat for themselves. I think that's a fantastic idea that 20 had. And let me tell you, 20 is a person that has experience on this app and so much success on this app that anybody who has not gone to see his streams, you really should, especially when he's teaching his classes. I learned so much. He was one of of mine when I joined the app 2 years ago.
What about increasing views?
So when you increase your heat, you're increasing your views. Hey, Sylvia, name change.
Okay, that's same thing then.
Oh, Journey! Nice to see you, girl.
So when you're a host, right?
Yes.
You're a host, like, and then like at the end of the month you get your 30 hours. Do we get confident, like not confident, but do we get like a payment with that, or just the beans that were given to us from the loyal supporters?
Okay, so when you're a host, like with an agency, you have a pay chart. So everybody who is in an agency, your agency leader has provided a pay chart. Either so different agencies have different ways to communicate with their hosts. Some people have a Discord server. I do. I have a Discord server and I have a whole pay channel where the pay chart is and the explanation of exactly all that stuff in my Discord server. Some agencies have just a WhatsApp group. Some agencies are on an application called Band. Some agencies are on Telegram. There's lots of different things that people use, but wherever your agency has their area of communication, they definitely have posted that pay chart. And what that pay chart tells you is how many hours and how many beans you need to get to get a certain pay. So when you're a brand new host on Bigo, your requirement is 30 hours in the month and 5,000 beans received. And you will get $100 from Bigo, which is the equivalent of 21,000 beans on payday. So you get the 21,000 beans plus the 5,000 beans that it took for you to get there. So at the end of the day, you're getting like 26,000 beans, essentially. After your first 3 months, the minimum is 10,000.
That's dope.
And that's the reason
That's
why,
dope.
it makes sense to become a host if you're going to go live anyway and you're going to get gifted. It makes sense to become a host because imagine if you're not a host, assigned host, and you're going live and you have all this attention and you happen to stay live for 30 hours and you happen to get more than 10,000 beans, all you're left with is that 10,000 beans at the end of the month. You could be getting an extra 21,000 if you actually signed with an agency. So it's a waste of money if you're going to go live anyway. Go ahead.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, if you're not going to go live too often, then that makes sense. Or maybe there's some people who hate going live. So even this Big Boss program, the Big Boss program is actually better suited for people that don't really want to go live too often, like maybe once or twice, or maybe once a week or whatever. Like they're never going to get the 30 hours. Then that's a way to get a little bit of beans back. But again, it's only after the first 300 beans are thrown at you, and then every bean after that counts. And this program refreshes every month. So it accumulates up until you've earned that $545. Once you've hit that mark, that's it. You can't get any more. So once you've received 100,000 total, and when you go live and you're in this program, you have a little kind of like a monitor on your screen that kind of tells you the progress that you've made and how many beans you've been earning as part of your rebate. So you can keep track of where you are in the month. That's what Bigo have done for the Big Boss program. And for hosts, you'll see that we also have another like pink little thing on our screen, not in a multi-lab panel like this, but when you're in a solo live, there's like a little pink thing, and it's a summary of how you're progressing in the month. So it'll tell you a breakdown of how many hours you've gotten to fulfill what tier. So it might say like, progressing towards tier C. And it'll be like, 28 out of 32 hours, or, 55,000 beans out of 70,000, or whatever you're closest to. It'll tell you how much you need to get to the next tier and what tier you've already completed. And a lot of people were really nervous about this in the beginning of the month, because up until you get your 30 hours, which is impossible to get until after the 15th of the month, it's going to show you at the lowest tier. Because even if you get 100,000 in the first day, you don't have your 30 hours. So you still only qualify for the $100 until you get that 30 hours completed on the 15th of the month, which is the earliest, because Bigo only counts up to 2 hours per day. So 2 hours per day for 15 days in a row is 30 hours. So on the 15th, you can get your 30 hours. And then, so let's say that example that I told you about 100,000, then you'd be qualified for the 30,000 range, because to get to 100 and even the 90,000, you need 32 hours. To get to the 32 hours up until 230,000, and then you need 33 hours, etc. The hours requirement keeps going higher. So don't be afraid if you think you're at tier because you got the beans, but you didn't get the hours, and it's showing you on your screen that you're not qualified for your tier. You won't be until your hours also match the requirements. So that's something to keep in mind, but it's a way to remind people that they need to get their hours. It's not just about the beans, right? If you happen to get your beans and not your hours, Bigo will give you 50% of whatever that tier is for the hours that you got. So for example, that's only if you get under the 30 hours. So 30,000 and under, they'll give you 50% of whatever that tier pays out. But after that, you get whatever tier your hours are at. So let's say you were supposed to get the 1 million tier, which requires you to have 1 million beans plus 42 hours. Let's say you only got 35 hours. the 35-hour mark, the highest 35-hour tier is 600,000. So you're only going to get paid 5,200 instead of 8,000 because you didn't do your hours. So it is a travesty to see people lose out on their tier because they didn't do their hours. So keep that in mind. In my agency, I have an incentive for people who complete their hours in the first 15 days. So talk to your agencies. You know, they might have similar incentives, but even if your agency has zero incentives, it is for your own best interest to get those hours done as soon as possible, because you don't know when you might have some angel dropping beans on you. Maybe you thought you were going to hit, 30,000 tier this month, and then somebody dropped you a dragon. Now all of a sudden you're closer to the 50,000, but you didn't factor for more than 30 hours. Well, you're never going to get that 50,000 because that 50,000 pay requires you to have 32 hours. So the hours are completely within your control. The beans are not always in your control. So always get those hours in, no matter what. Because up until the very last day of the month, you can earn beans up until the very last day. But if you don't do your hours, nothing's going to save you. Even if you get all the beans, if you don't have those hours in, you won't get paid.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. You won't get the pay that you deserve.
I might need a waiver.
Pardon?
I might need a waiver.
You might need a waiver?
A waiver. I know I do my I know I do my hours and stuff like that, but I ain't gonna make it at $30 because I just started.
Oh, no. So for
I might try again next month.
For any host who starts after the 15th, where it's basically impossible to get your 30 hours, well, on a month like October, which is 31 days, it would be the 16th. But let's say you start on the 20th. In no month are you going to be able to do 30 hours if you start on the 20th. So there's a special tier called Tier Z or Tier Z. And that has a completely different criteria, which is lower. You're not going to get a full $100, but you can get $50 if you hit those requirements. So there's something there, even though that's not your first full month, you can still get something. So if you started on the 20th or like after the 15th of whatever month, that's not your first full month. So that does not count as your first full month. You're still in like I guess month 0, you can consider that. And then your first 3 months count starting the month after that. So Lil Mook, you would count November as your first full month. So you have November, December, and January to hit that 5,000 tier, which is incredibly profitable, by the way, for anybody, because you get paid the same as a person who's hitting their 10,000 tier. Yeah.
Nice. Like your makeup, I make it. That's dope. That's dope.
Hey, Angelina. Sorry, guys. I'm talking and I'm like not looking at the comments. I feel sorry.
It's okay, so.
I know. I just feel bad.
Things pretty good.
I don't like missing comments.
Of course.
Go ahead, Fuzzy.
I was gonna say, there's people who take this app serious than others, and they struggle. And then there's people who don't take this serious at all. They get their 2 hours, but then they're like up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It all depends on the audience and support they have, Fozzy. Like, it all depends. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does depend.
That's the risk of being a host.
You and Blue and Soul Sister put in more than they do, and they like get burnt out. Like sometimes,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because Bigo does that.
Well, I mean, I know for me, why I get burnt out is because sometimes I will have 16 hours on this app and maybe only like 300 beans or something, or 500 beans for the whole 16 hours, which makes it a complete waste of money for me to be like live, but I enjoy it too. you know. But when you go for so many days doing that, regardless of the amount of money you make, even if you're making lots of money those days, it still wears on your body, right? It wears on your body to be live for so long. Let's see. What if you get the hours and not reach an amount of beans? You will not get paid. Or just for newcomers or those who want to be a host. So, disculpe Silvia, es que de falar su nombre me perdón. Oh, it's okay. Está bien, Whitehorse, no te preocupes. Boa noite, Whitehorse. So basically, if you do, let's say you got your 30 hours, but you only got 1,000 beans, unfortunately, you don't qualify for pay. The beans are really what's going to get you paid, and the hours is what's going to guarantee that tier. So the hours determines what tier you're going to get paid for, and the beans determine like that you're actually going to get paid or not. Hey, Smokey. Nice to see you. I'm good, thank you. Welcome to the Bear City Family Matters panel, everybody.
So that means,
Mr. Murphy, are you new host?
So that means,
welcome. Sorry, go ahead.
So like that means like when you like, all right, so the beans, like, a new beans start over, even though it sticks to your profile about how many beans you accumulated.
So the beans in your profile are the ones that you've collected since day one. So for example, in my profile, what does it say? It says I have 16 million beans received and 13 million diamonds sent. Those 16 millions have been counted since I started on the app, which was 2 years ago. It doesn't mean I have 16 million in my wallet. I wish I did, but I do not.
Right.
That's just a cumulative sum across the time that you've been on Bigo. So it's not reflective of what's in a person's wallet.
Oh,
yeah,
I was just waving at Smokey.
No, we wish. Yeah.
We wish.
Yeah,
Mr.
I would have been like screwed. Yep.
Pardon?
I would have been like screwed if I didn't know what it had mean. Like I thought, like if I didn't ask that question, all right. So if I would have accumulated these beans, I thought it would have keep going and progressing. Then you know,
You're cutting in and out, Mook. I cannot understand what you're saying. Did anybody else catch it?
Yeah. I was
Something
wondering
about,
if I was the only one that was hearing that. Yeah.
Something about the hours just keep going and going the more he stays on the app, I think.
He would have thought that the tiers would go along with the...
Y'all can hear me? My bad.
Can you type in the comments?
Yeah, the connection's lagging.
All right.
His connection here. Whitehorse. Que tu falas? Whitehorse is from Brazil. Mimoso. Whitehorse is Brazil.
What's up,
Thank you.
Oh man, I dropped my phone trying to get a screenshot for you.
Android is not my friend, guys. Thank
Damn.
you, Mosso. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm in a 75% right now. I forgot. Oh wow. Okay. Driving, auto dictation, not great for spelling tears.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Yeah, sometimes the voice to text is so hard to like get the right things. Hey, Dara.